And well, there's one clean housing, one dirty floor. Look at all the rubbish that came off it, in from under the levers and all that. There's quite a bit of dirt there. But look, all the gasket housings and all are clean. I've replaced everything. Well, not replaced everything, I haven't replaced anything. I've cleaned everything up, got all the old bits of gasket out and used a bit of brake cleaner to try and tidy things up a little bit. And everything's looking pretty good in there now. So I think we'll turn him upside down, and while the going's good, I cleaned in there best I could. Hard to get in there, but I might be able to pressure clean that later. And I wire brushed all under the arms and all under this housing here. There's that broken rubber. And I think now I will get it ready to sit on the 6-speed and button him up, and that's another part of the job done, and we haven't got it laying around in the dust waiting for me to get round to it. I still have a small pallet of 135 6-speed parts there to deal with. But we'll get to it. But once we get all this back end finished, yeah, there'll be no holds barred, we'll be into it. Get a little bit of grey sprayed around. Well, as you see here, I've got all the rock shaft all tidied up, cleaned up, and then on the top of the housing here, I'm not putting a gasket in this one. I'll just bring that back up again a little bit. I'm using Bearco R51, and it's like a Loctite 515, and I did a lot of years with John Deere, and when they had a paper gasket under the hydraulic cover, they used to walk out sometimes, and we found that, well, John Deere actually went to an aluminium gasket, and that fixed things, but we always used to Loctite it on. So we're all ready to go. I just need to lower him down a bit and guide it as we go. We've got a bit of a kookaburra there laughing away at us. Might know something we don't know. Okay, now as we're close, I'll try and put a long bolt in here. And another one in the other side. Now that's just to hold everything in place, and as we come down I should be able to put my hand in through the side here and feel where this pipe here has to go, which it's not a hard job, it's just the two longer studs are just my way of making sure they're somewhere near where they should be. And this pipe can come up and go down, so if you don't get it first time, don't be too worried. I've got the tractor slopping around a bit, but I can move it. I may get some pliers and turn that a bit. Okay, I can feel down into the top of the pump there. I can feel where the pipe should go. And just by turning that a little bit, it needs to come out to the back a little. I might take the weight down. That might just line him up that little bit better. There we go. So that's sitting down. Now, I'll bring the camera around here. And try and hone in on there. So that there, is about how far your pipe should be sticking out. So that's a good thing. Now, also, we have this plate that goes on top, and I'll go and find an O-ring for that. Okay, here's the plate that goes on the top there. So there's a little O-ring goes in there. And you just make sure it has protrusion. Sometimes I put a bit of the Loctite on there, just a bit of a smear around, but look, you shouldn't really need to do that. It'll be okay. So that goes down with that O-ring lined up with this hole here. So once that sits down in place, and it goes the other side, Lance. Try and keep up. Oh, you'll see that it's offset. It's closer to the front than the back. You can feel the compression on the O-rings as I push it down. Now these two there, they're 11/16, 7/16 UNC bolts. And those fellas there, they can just be done up tight. And what we don't do at this stage, I'll try and pan back out a little bit again. Now, we can run round and put all the bolts in, but these bolts at the front, this is where your handbrake goes on these two. So we won't bother putting the bolts in there yet, but all the others we can. So there's a few different lengths, so it's not hard to put the long ones in where they're needed. And if you work out that you have the bolt in the right place when there's about an inch sticking out the top, you won't go far wrong. You won't have to redo bolts and things like that. So we have another one here. That's about right for there. Nice little short one. Nice little short one. That's over the back. And like the kookaburras laughing at it. That fella can go there. Okay, we'll run around. I'll tighten all these up, and I'm just going to rattle them down and just check them by hand then. Make sure they're nice and tight, and we'll come back. You can hear a bit of creaking in the shed. It's a sunny day and a few clouds have come over, so the shed expands and contracts. So seems to be something we just we have from time to time. Early in the morning, late of an evening we don't, but yeah, we got to work when we got to work. The reason for this little clip is down in here. I was looking at the bolts down there and thinking I was one short, and there's no thread there. I thought, what's going on there? So I've gone over to have a look at the old housing, and the old housing that I took off the 6-speed, that's blank. There's no hole drilled in it at all. You have the bolts here that hold the cylinder in place, your main lift cylinder. You have your check valve, but down here, that's just blank. So yeah, something I never knew. You may not either. Okay, I've got you zoomed all into the side here, and a couple of things to look at. This little fella here, make sure he's lined up. I haven't undone that, so the setting will be the same as it was, and you should be able to move the levers so that vertical lever here can come down, and there is a little, I've got my diff lock in the road really now, but there is a little tool that you can jam this forward with when you have the proper gear, but we don't seem to have much of the proper gear. But if you can lever it forward there like that, that gives us a chance then to bring this roller into there. So I like to put it in the back hole over there. Try and there you go. Should be able to just hook that wire out. That's nice and firm, so when we move the levers, we're actually moving the hydraulic control valve. Draft and position, both working. I haven't adjusted these at all. I'd have to read up on that. I don't have to adjust them often. I'm very rusty on some of that stuff, so I'd have to have a fiddle. This here can come down. Now we know our pipe's in. We'll just check that. Yep, I can feel it's down in the hole there. Okay, we can put this cover on, and we just need to make sure that when we put the cover on, this little fella, little response control is in the right spot. One of the adjustments is a hole in the side there, and you can open this up and set it, but we won't need, we'll just have our little lever across there. I've seen people break them doing it, so we'll, I think at this stage, we'll grab the side cover and give it a good tidy up and a sandblast up, and see if we can get it back on. Okay, that's what we have at the moment. It's slowly coming together. Around the other side here, we have that plate on, the hydraulic cover on, and I'm not sure how the sound went for putting that cover on, but that's okay. We can just, I know we filmed it, so we'll sort something out. So there you go, we still have a few bits and pieces to put together. And down in the bell housing, we have to put the throw out and all in there yet, and we still haven't touched those brakes.